Hello and welcome back to the Not the Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks, here to quickly look back on the weekend's action before we get too far into the week. Bit of a late one this, with the late night kickoff on the Sunday, and we also had our video with Danny McNamara going out as I record this on the Monday night, so that will be out roughly about 12 hours or so, or just over by the time that you get round to watching this. So if you haven't already checked it out, do check that out. An interview with a former St Johnstone player of this season ahead of their League Cup final this Sunday. We'll have plenty of interviews going up on the channel and on our website, nottheoldfirm.com, ahead of that one at Hampden. In terms of the Premiership action, we'll get a quiet weekend one weekend, I'm pretty sure. Plenty of talking points. We'll get straight into it. Run down to the fixtures. Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 0. There was a goal in that game, which was shock of the weekend. Hibs 2, Hamilton 0, 3-0 to St Johnstone away to Mull in a fine performance from the Saints. St Mirren 1, Livingston 1. Then on the Sunday, Rangers 4, Dundee United 1, perhaps not telling the full story of that game. And then Ross County 1, Celtic 0. We'll get into that in a bit. We'll start with the game at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 0. Pretty horrible game again, but I mean, I know I said in the preview maybe 2 each or something would be fitting for the way Scottish football's been going this season, but it sort of played out how I think the form book would suggest it would, with little in attack and maybe the odd goal sailing. At Aberdeen were on a club record long game without a goal streak. I think I've completely butchered the how you say that, but you get the gist. Longest streak in their history without a goal, and they managed to break that. Callum Hendry with his first goal since arriving from St Johnstone on loan. He replaced Fraser Hornby in the 20th minute mark, who looks to have picked up a wee bit of an injury again. More injury problems up front for Aberdeen, but Callum Hendry came on within a minute. He scored with his first touch, and that was enough to beat Killie, who, Killie are all of a sudden are being dragged right into. They've lost literally every single game they've played since January 9th when they beat Hamilton Accies 2-0 at Rugby Park. Since then, they've lost every game and they have failed to score in 7 of those 8 games. I was at the one game where they scored 2 in the first half. Again, in that game, you were thinking, how are they up 2-0 at half time? They scored with 2 shots on target. Fair enough to them. But again, they weren't great, and St Johnstone eventually did come back and win 3-2. Tommy Knight's got a bit of a job on his hands. I think it's fair to say Kilmarnock are on a bit of free fall of results over the weekend, leaving them in the relegation playoff spot for the first time in a wee while. Is sort of 8 games left to save themselves. They really need to start picking up victories. The supposed saving grace for them is that they don't need to play anybody that's currently in the top 6 just now, between now and the rest of the season. They've got Dundee United at home, which is a huge match this weekend. Ross County away, another huge match, before Muddle at home before the split. Again, another huge match. So the old cliche of 8 cup finals really does ring true. And with Aberdeen, game they should be winning, but they don't make up any ground on Hibs, who managed to win again at the weekend. They're 4 points behind Hibs, and Hibs have a game in hand away at Ross County, although they did maybe end Livingston's slim chances of making 4th, potentially. Who knows? Maybe they would have pushed for 3rd, but that looks extremely unlikely now. A draw again for them at the weekend, leaving them 8 points behind Aberdeen, albeit with a game in hand and still to play the Dons after the split. Hibs 2, Hamilton 0. Hamilton, fairly decent form, but red card completely changed this game. Jamie Hamilton sent off for a debatable red card that's been well analysed, and Martin Boyle went and scored directly after that, and then Josh Doig with his first goal for the club. Jack Ross and Brian Rice both agreeing that perhaps the red card was a bit harsh on the teenage Accies defender.
No, I mean, I was fairly close to it at the time, and I've only seen it from a really wide angle, which tells me nothing about it. And I did think that Jamie was a wee bit high and a wee bit reckless with it, but I still was a little surprised when he was sent off. But that's maybe somebody that I don't think there was a real malice in it, but I think that it probably didn't look great, and particularly marked so quick as well. You know, when it happens in real time, it probably looks quite bad as well. I think scoring so quickly helps. I think the penalty probably was pivotal a little bit. I think if we score that, then it maybe becomes a little bit easier for us. But I never really felt like, credit to him, I didn't think we really had massive control of the game. pitch doesn't help that at the moment, and the way they played didn't help that because they kept at it. But I think what we did do is we carried the thread, we worked right, showed a lot, and when you do that, I think you believe that you will score. Yeah, I mean, I think the players can smell the opportunity for success, which is a big thing. And I'm pleased. I think this season, I think every time we've had any bumps or questions asked of us, we've responded well. I think 5 out of 6 wins, 4 on the bounce, a lot of clean sheets in that period as well, and it's testament to the players because we keep tweaking what we're doing to try and put that right, and they keep buying into it and keep producing. So long way to go for us, some good teams competing to finish in that part of the table, but you know, we're in a good position, and I think players are enjoying the football at the moment as well.
Yeah. My thoughts on it are no comment, no talking about it. The referee's made the decision with the help of his assistant, so I think you can tell by the tone of my voice how I feel about it. Changed the course of the game, 100%.
And what would you say there?
Martin said he caught me, but it wasn't a bad tackle. That's all he said. I never asked him about anything else. I just said, did they catch it? He said, they caught me, he said, but it wasn't a bad tackle. Right, that then? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to answer the decision. All I know is that somebody at the sideline. And I'm not getting myself into trouble. My boys need me at the side of the pitch. I'm not going to up front the SFA for saying things I shouldn't be saying. I've got my thoughts on it. You've all seen it. You see it on the TV. Write what you see. Because he's right about what you say about teams. So write what you see about incidents, please.
Mull 0, St Johnstone 3, the first of the League Cup finalists that we'll go on to speak about. Great day for Callum Davidson's side. 2 goals from Guy Melamed and Jason Kerr's goal before half-time. So a very easy win for St Johnstone, looking great form ahead of the League Cup final. Only a couple of weeks ago, you'd probably say the Livingston were the form team heading into that one, but now, fair to say, I think it has been flipped to St Johnstone. Livingston are not in terrible form, and they haven't won 3 games going into it. So St Johnstone doing fairly well heading into this one, but Mull were very poor again. That's now, with the last 2 games at home to Hamilton, St Johnstone have lost 7-1 on aggregate, which, yeah, just isn't good enough. Liam Kelly, goalkeeper, said he was embarrassed by the full thing. Really strong quotes from him at the end of that one, and I think he sort of just summed up what the Mull fan base is feeling about it. Just a bit disappointed and a bit dejected after the last 2 weekends, really bruising ones that if they'd have won in the Accies game, they maybe start to, look up. As you'll hear from Graham Alexander, obviously perhaps prematurely looking at battle to stay in the league again, only 4 points off bottom again. And St Mirren, who they play midweek in the game in hand, obviously if you remember, Mull did have a 3-0 forfeit win for this that was overturned, rightly in my opinion. So they'll play for the 3 points in that one. But should St Mirren win that, then I'm pretty sure, is that, yeah, I think mathematically that would be Motherwell's top 6 ambitions over, but to be honest, I don't think it's likely that Mull are going to do between 7 and 10 points more than St Mirren in the 12 points or so they've got left to play between now and this split. Anyway, we heard from Callum Davidson and Mull manager Graham Alexander at the end of this one. Callum Davidson saying he's got a selection headache ahead of the St Johnstone trip to Hampden, whereas Graham Alexander's demanding a lot more from his players.
If they're fit, that's the reality. You look at the names in our squad and some good players on there, good players throughout it, and I think they've shown in fits and spells, and certainly in the prior to the Hamilton game, that we had enough to win games of football against good opponents. But we have lost some real big players, certainly this week. Anyway, when you look at and not big players from previous, but big players while I've been here, in our results. So, but we have to deal with that, and this is the thing. It's going to be a fight from now to the end of the season, which I was trying to allude to even after the Kilmarnock game, that people started talking about what was above, and we had to just keep on putting points on our tally. And I think the last 2 results have brought that into real clarity, that we have to make sure that we win enough points to stay as a Premiership club. And I think everyone has to have a reality check about this season and what, as a whole, and where we are. I think all talk of the top 6 and things should be put to one side. We're in a fight to win points to make sure we're a Premiership club, and we have to show that type of fight, that it means as much to us as anybody else.
That was, I think, his complete performance was good for the season.
I think that was it today. I think first half we actually played some real good football in difficult conditions, cut them open and had some great chances to score. Second half I think became more of a battle and a fight, and I think the lads responded really well. I knew it was going to be, and I thought they fought extremely hard. I said I didn't want to limit Motherwell chances second half, make sure we turn the screw and put pressure on them, and they did exactly that, so I can't ask for any more. Yeah, it's a great one to have, I think probably look at like the Callum Booth, who's not been in the team. He's come in, Scott got injured, and Callum's performed to a real high standard last 2 games. Guy Melamed, Liam Craig, there's lots of players there that are obviously pushing for a start. What I'll do is I'll have a look at the Hampden, I'll look at Livingston, and basically I'll always try and pick a team that I think is going to win the game, and I will do that for next Sunday.
St Mirren won, Livingston won in a game wrecked by weather conditions. Not one for the football purists. Davy Martindale saying after the game it's not one for the coaching badges. That about summed it up. They got a bit of a fluky goal to start with, a header from Richard Tate coming back off Conor McCarthy and into the net. Really unfortunate for St Mirren to lose that one early on, and then Cammy McPherson scoring a really good goal just after the half-hour mark to take a point for St Mirren, who, well, they haven't won in 3 games, they also haven't lost, and they've just been picking up points slowly but surely, and they have a 1-point gap with a game in hand on Dundee United and 7th, and they've got a 2-point gap on St Johnstone. This Mullow game for them could be really crucial. A game they had lost 3-0 technically, going by the SPFL, but it's been overturned, and if they can get a win in that one, then that does open up a wee bit of a gap. It does give them some room for error, which will obviously be handy. They have got Rangers away, which will be a tough one, but they've also got Ross County at home and Hamilton away between that. So if they could build up that 4-point gap, perhaps that maybe might be enough to just sneak them into the top 6 for the first time in their history, which would be a great achievement for Jim Goodwin's side. We heard from Davy Martindale at the end of this one. Robbie McCrory was putting goals instead of Matt Stryek ahead of the League Cup final, and Davy Martindale was impressed by the goalkeeper who hasn't had much of a chance in the Premiership as of late.
I don't think so. There was maybe an opportunity, but I don't think so, to be honest. But it's quite hard to condition. The ball was swirling, so I think the first half, when there's a couple of opportunities, wee boy McPherson's had a great ball. I think he's right footed, he smashed that with his left. I think the wind scored it a wee bit. But in the first half, I don't think I gave the boys enough credit how hard it was trying to get out your own half. As soon as the man was spinning it in behind, it's difficult to defend. The ball bouncing, you're giving throw-ins away. Then the next minute you're defending a throw-in 20 yards inside your own half. So it was really difficult to get out your half. Very, very similar game. I was here on Wednesday night when it was Hamilton St Mirren. It was a very similar game. It was a game of 2 halves, and I think you seen with the wind behind both teams, or the swirl behind both teams, you could see shooting, I don't know what stand that is, but shooting downhill or shooting north. You seen how it was probably we had the better chances in the second half. St Mirren wasn't much in the first half, but it was a very similar game to Wednesday night, to be honest. I've said for day one, I've got 2 number 1s at the club. We played Celtic however many weeks ago, and Big Robbie went in. We never had a great start as a club collectively at the start of the year, and I think Robbie took a lot of the brunt for that, which was really unfair. I think it was generally everybody on the park collectively was at mistakes. Max came in, he's done really well in that 14-game unbeaten run, but I think Robbie played in the Celtic game and done really well as well. So I've got 2 very good number 1s at the club, and I just felt Robbie needed an opportunity as well, and I thought he'd done extremely well today.
Rangers 4, Dundee United 1. Dundee United started this game really well for half an hour, and then the Rangers' first goal completely kills the game. Joe Rebo deflecting it off Yanis Hadji. Ryan Kent scoring a deflected effort 2 minutes after that, and then that was it. Pretty much done. Joe Rebo scored a really nice goal after half time to really seal things, and then Benjamin Siegrist with one he will not look back on with fondness, clearing it off Alfredo Morelos' back and into the net. So Martin McNulty scored a consolation at the end, 4-1. In the first half an hour, if Dundee United scored, maybe be a different game, but overall Rangers are just completely dominant just now and are only a couple of wins away from the title as a changing of the guard beckons in Scotland's Premiership. And then it got to 7:30 on Sunday night, and Scottish football Twitter and Scottish football itself decided to go into rapture again. Don't know if I've said, I mean, you can probably tell I'm recording this late at night. The words are going everywhere here, but you get the gist. Scottish football into uproar with this one late last night. Ross County 1, Celtic 0. Jordan White, who hadn't scored a goal following his move from Inverness to Mull earlier this season, Mull sending him up to Highlands. John Hughes seems to be getting a tune out of him. His second goal for the Staggies since joining at the end of, or near the end of last month. A great header, lost his marker. Celtic again unable to defend set pieces seemingly, and they won 1-0. A massive result in the battle at the bottom. Ross County completely, I think, in the end deserved it. They rode their luck at times. Ryan Christie should have scored at least 2, a couple of others. It could have been 2 or 3 to Celtic on another night, but it just didn't happen for them, and it happened for Ross County. Everyone that could go their way did go their way, as well as some shrewd tactical planning from John Hughes, who I am personally delighted for. If anybody deserves a big result like him, it is who deserves a big result like that, it is John Hughes. So yeah, great result for him. But the frustrating thing must be that's then beat Celtic, Hibs, Aberdeen. But they have also lost in recent times this season to Motherwell, Dundee United. So he must be scratching his head a bit and just wondering how can we get these consistent results against teams around us. And that's going to be his latest task. They've not got it easy between now and the split either. St Mirren away is their next task on Saturday before the huge match at home to Kilmarnock. That could be a really defining one in the battle at the bottom. And then Hibs and St Johnstone come after that. So 3 sort of difficult fixtures. They've got 2 teams that could be in the top 6 and one that, at the very least, will have pushed very hard for it. And then they've got Kilmarnock. That could be the one where they could target 3 points in. But John Hughes, nevertheless, absolutely delighted with this players after a historic win for the Staggies.
I was delighted with the result. Yeah, absolutely chuffed about with the result. Delighted for the boys, their effort, their commitment, their organisation, their willingness to go and really put their body on the line. It's Glasgow Celtic we're playing against. There had to be before the game an understanding that we couldn't be wide open. You know, and especially in that second phase that they work. You know, when you go and press the first phase, it goes into guys like Roger, Christie, Turnbull, and they go and damage you. So tactically we were spot on, and then to go and score the goal, something that we've been banging the drum about. You know, all about delivery. We need to get delivery into that box, and the delivery for Harry Payton and Jordan peeling around the back. Absolutely delighted. I thought Big Jordan was different class tonight. He really did. Led the line very, very well. And right at the end, we're hanging in there. You know, we know we're hanging in. We're getting deeper and deeper, but they're flinging their bodies on the line. And I think they all played their part. It was important that we put the substitutes on when we did, because we asked for honesty to put your hand up. And it shows you when you're not even in the team, you're paying attention to what your job is if you ever go on. And I felt they went on and, you know, got us over the line.
Right, that's all we get time for on this review. We hope you have enjoyed. Do remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Plenty of League Cup final coverage coming over the week on our website, socials, and the YouTube channel itself. And as well as that, we'll have all the usual Premiership stuff. Pretty much a full card, albeit I think there's a couple of games missing, but still a lot of action across that, and the Championship as well, which you can keep up to date on our socials and on our website. Right, that's all from me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, take it easy.